traveling.
Yeah.
So I remember growing up when I was younger, I would like interview my teddy bears in the bedroom and,
Wow.
have a camera just shooting that. So when I look back, I'm like, actually, that was something I was very interested in even at a young age, particularly from watching Oprah with my mom. And yeah, so I started working in broadcast and I worked
Mm-hmm.
for a local company in South Africa. I'm currently based in South Africa and I
Okay.
used to work for a company called ENCA. And there we did a lot of mobile journalism. We covered a lot of digital content. And then I went on to work for Forbes afterwards
That's
in
amazing.
2018. Yeah.
Okay. So I heard I saw a few interviews when I checked out on YouTube. I saw
Mm-hmm.
you've been involved in the curating of the list for the Forbes under 30, the Forbes Africa
Yeah.
30 under 30.
30 under 30.
Yeah. So I wanted
My,
to go in detail with with that part of the
mm.
selection process. So what is your selection process or criteria? What do they look for? Well, that's what most of the
So,
people want.
yeah. So the Forbes Africa 30 under 30 list, just a young disclaimer, is not saying that these are billionaires right now. A lot of people get it
Mm,
confused and think that once you've made it the list, it means that you're there for a billionaire or a millionaire. And that's not what we're
okay.
saying. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we're basically looking for people that are under the age of 30 and are in the industries of tech, business. We also look at the sports and the creative industries because those are money makers as well and really pushing, the African economies higher. So within the business and tech, we'd be looking for people that have been running businesses for at least 2 years. They
Mm,
have a proven track record. They're also doing some the work that they're doing also shows impact. So whether they're hiring people in their countries
yeah.
or they've expanded their businesses to go international, that's what we look at. Then we're obviously looking for profitability. So it's a long process that goes into it. And then with regards to the sports and the creatives, we're looking for people that have, number one, represented their country, whether it's a sports team or you as a sports player. And then as a creative, we're looking for people who have done amazing work. Their work also shows some sort of African narrative around that. And we're looking for people that have been in the industry for at least 2 years max. And we can see that they have really pushed the African narrative overseas and they're really pushing, for more publicity around Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who audits the if you're talking about profits, then you must have
Mm.
an auditor, right? So who's
Yeah,
in charge of the auditing for that part?
Yeah, so we work with an audit partner called S&G Grant Thornton. So
Okay.
basically, we'll get all the finances. The businesses have to audit them themselves as well. So we'll only look at audited financial statements, and from that,
Mm,
we audit it on our side ourselves, looking at if there's any, missing figures, if perhaps there's discrepancies in the amount of money that are shown, and then we're also looking for growth because that growth then shows that this is a business that is sustainable and this is a business that in the next years to come, we can see that it is something that will still be existing in the next years to come.
yeah. So I saw Mr. Easy was on 2020's
Yes.
um yeah under Forbes Africa 30 under 30. So what's really stood out on Mr. Easy's?
Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Easy made it on the 2020 list for this year in
Mm,
March. And one of the things that we really admired around what he's doing is that he's not only just an entertainer or musician, but he
yeah.
also has a business that he's running, Empower Africa, which has been pushing this narrative of building young creatives and young musicians and putting them out there. So his
No.
track record and the way that he has positioned himself as an artist, as an entrepreneur, has been very remarkable over the years. And yeah, he's really played a huge role in pushing more African music internationally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Mm.
evident. And the other interview that I saw of you was the one so you were talking about Burna Boy. So
And
how does Burna Boy and you're talking about the profits, like the amounts that they pay for the shows. How does that
mhm.
really make someone to qualify
So
in
we
terms
look at,
of
I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear me, it just sounds a little bit shaky.
all right. Yeah. received the call.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other question was, I was trying to understand how Burna Boy would be there. I thought it was just about the impact you make in terms of helping other people, or is this just about the profit or
No,
the
so
money
we'll
they're
look at,
making?
yeah. So we'd look at the earnings, perhaps how much they charge per show, how much they make per show. We look at their earnings in terms of, how much their reach is internationally. So YouTube views, social media views,
Mm-hmm.
looking at things like Spotify. So how much views they have in total, and from that
Mm-hmm.
we'll decide that, okay, is this someone that qualifies? Is this a big name? Is this a brand that that can also
Right.
be a role model for other young people? Yeah. So it's not
Yeah.
only specifically just about numbers, but we're looking at, can this be someone that other young Africans can look up to? So that's why we also really go deep into finding out a little bit more about the individual. We'll also have judges on board that help with,
Mm-hmm.
verifying per industry. Is this someone that we could consider a game changer in the industry? Is this someone that other young people can look up to in that industry?
Yeah, it's understandable. So I was thinking about this situation where we have someone who is a farmer, who's not really a commercial
Yeah.
farmer, but they're domestic, but they're making really big impact in the society in terms of the supply they give, their
Mm,
financial statements stand out. Can they also
yeah.
really qualify for the consideration?
Yeah, no, definitely. We try as much to encourage as many people to apply. Because one of the
Mm-hmm.
other things is that we're looking for someone who's unique. You'll notice that many people that make it on our list, particularly within the tech and the business side of things, are people that have come from very different backgrounds, and
Yeah.
usually they are self-starters. So their stories usually are so unique that they bring out this idea or this notion that you don't need to come from a rich family to be able to make it in life. You don't need to necessarily have, a certain degree to be able to push it in this specific industry. But they have
Yeah.
shown that with the struggles and the challenges that they faced in their different countries or their different communities, that they have been able to overcome that and start a business on their own. I mean, we've got people come from Uganda who
Mm-hmm.
literally started all the way from the bottom and have come up with a business which helps in screening cancer for women. We've got some people coming from Malawi, we've got people coming from Zambia, Zim,
Mm-hmm.
all walks of life. So everyone is encouraged to apply, but as long as you do look at the requirements at the beginning and see if you qualify for the under 30 list.
Yeah. So what would be the biggest benefit of being on the list?
Ooh, it's a lot. I think that there's quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Our role as Forbes Africa is mostly, we are a media company, so our role is basically to highlight that
Yeah.
this is what young Africans are doing. So we basically provide that platform for you guys to be seen
That,
on a very
that's
global scale. So it all depends also on what the people that make it on the list do with it. And you'll find that you go through different networking processes. There's the under 30 summit that happens in the US that brings together all the under 30s from across the world, and they basically come together, they network, they push your business. I've heard amazing testimonies and stories from other under 30s from previous years who
mm-hmm.
still till today have the Forbes Africa brand name on their CV, have it on their signature, and that really helps them to be able to be seen as credible, and also helps them to get funding. People want to work with you once they see that name. You are, Forbes Africa 30 under 30 certified, because it brings credibility to your name. You've been checked, you've been looked at as well.
Yeah. So looking at the meaning, it's part of branding. The list is
Yeah.
also part of your branding of your business and the things you're doing. So how do you describe branding? How do you define branding in your own words?
I think branding is it's such a broad term, but just to
Mm-hmm.
put it into perspective, I think you'd say branding is mostly when your business or your name is identifiable. So when they see your colors, they know that that is you, that is
That's you.
unique to you, that is the
More like an
identity that you belong
identity,
to.
I guess.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just on what's on the outside, but what do they associate your brand with? For example, a Nike, you know that Nike has the tick, but
Yeah.
what does it mean to you on a personal level? It means overcoming barriers. It means being able to stand out, especially in the sports industry, and so many things. So branding also evokes a certain emotion that your clients, that your customers would be interested in whenever they see your name, they see your signature somewhere.
That's great. So how would you describe your brand? Because you're
My
also
brand.
on TV, you're on Forbes, you're everywhere. How would you
Um,
describe your brand?
I think I don't think I've really I don't think I've really been branding myself as much. I've been getting a lot of opportunities to be able to be in the public space, but my brand is mostly a storyteller. I am a journalist and storyteller. So mostly what I do is I also shoot videos, I also take pictures. So everything that I do and the work that I encompass is to push a certain African narrative. Every day we're
Yeah.
hearing a lot of negative stories. Every time you're reading the news, especially international news about Africa, there's always something bad, or they'll always highlight
Mhm.
something negative that is happening in our continent. But my role and what I'd love to do in this industry is to
Mhm.
push and highlight more positive African stories.
That's great. I saw you posting your friend, one of your friends. I don't know if it's your friend or just one of your colleagues. He's a director for they shot some series for Netflix.
Yes,
Blood
director Kit.
Water. Yeah, I've forgotten the title, but Blood and Water, right? And the next one, which I
She,
saw with Fail to See. Oh,
yeah, so
it's a
she
female. Okay.
yes, it's a female. She was
Uh,
actually a list maker for this year. She was on the
uh-huh.
cover of the Forbes magazine as well. So she's one of the young creatives in South Africa that has been doing amazing work.
That's
She's got a lot of upcoming contracts with Netflix, and she did that recent advertisement about Africans telling stories about Africans for Africa.
wow.
So yeah, just pushing that and for people to see that there's a
Yeah,
lot of young people out there that are doing amazing work, and I think it's important that we should highlight those things.
yeah. So you said you're a filmmaker and you're also a journalist.
I'm a
So
videographer and
yeah, I
journalist.
wanted videographer. Okay.
Mhm.
So do you also make movies or something? Are you also involved in the?
No, no,
You
not
don't.
movies necessarily. I mean, I would. That's an industry I would like to tap into, but a little bit later in the future. I mostly tell stories for news, so news videos, interviews. Most all the behind the scene videos that you've seen on
Yeah,
Forbes were done by myself, and yeah, and short documentaries, but mostly on the news side of things.
yeah. So obviously, you being a journalist or an influencer, you've received a lot of requests from other people. What would you say about management? Like, do
Mm-hmm.
creatives really need managers to have managers or representatives, or they should just do it on themselves, or it's okay to be independent?
Mm-hmm. I think it's important. When you speak about independence, I think perhaps independent in terms of not necessarily belonging to an organization. But I think it's important for serious
Mhm.
creatives to really tap into getting a manager or someone that can help, especially on the business side of things. Because once you
Mhm.
start going big and you start booking bigger contracts, you start booking a lot more engagements. It's
Mhm.
it's it's important to have someone that can assist you on that side of things. And it's not to say that you have to belong to a record label if you're a musician.
Yeah.
You can still have a manager without belonging to a specific record label. But it's important. I think it's very important to have someone who can seriously help you in terms of pushing your networks out there, pushing your brand out there, and also making sure that you are making the right decisions with when it comes to the people that you book.
Yeah. That's amazing. So I just have a few questions which are a little bit personal. They're just about you, not about the business.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so this one, the first question would be mention one misconception people have about you.
People think I'm South African.
Oh, you're not?
Yeah, I'm not. You see, I'm actually not. I am not. I've been living here for a long time, but I'm originally
And
from Malawi. I just haven't grown up in
Okay.
Malawi before. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of
So
the
all
photos,
the
your
time,
locations on Malawi. But at first, when I saw your name,
yeah,
Mwendera, I thought you are from Zambia. There's a part from Zambia. I know someone who's called Mwendera, so I thought you were from Zambia.
from
All
oh,
right,
from
cool.
Zambia. Yeah,
Yeah,
because Zambian are like sister brother company. I mean countries. So,
yeah.
and where are you
Okay,
from?
I'm from Zambia,
Zambia. Okay,
but
I could tell by
I'm
the
currently.
accent.
Ah,
I could tell by the accent.
how's my accent? Okay, it's so good. Uh, which other business people would you like to work with outside South Africa?
Um, but I wouldn't really say business people, but companies. I know I'd love to one day work with the UN. I'd love to work with Vice. They're a storytelling platform, and they tell really
Yeah.
cool stories, innovative stories. Yeah.
What do you think those people need in order for you to be part of them? What are the requirements so far, according to information you have right now?
You mean for me to be employed by them or work with them?
Okay, okay, okay. If you didn't make it in journalism, did you have plan B?
Mm-hmm. I had a lot of plan Bs. I had wanted to be an astronaut growing up at some
Nice.
point, but I think it was quite difficult because you're not really exposed to, that industry in Africa. Like when I was growing up, there were no universities around like home that I could go to where they study, where they had that option. Um, I also had wanted to go into international relations.
Nice. Would you say you're a listener or a talker?
I'm a listener. I'm a huge listener. I mean, my whole job is about listening, so it's always weird being on the side of things where I'm being
Yeah.
interviewed. Yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time? Or you say, okay, it's kind of weird when you find yourself on
Hmm.
this side of interviews and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
sure before,
Yeah.
yes. So before you became a journalist, like on a larger platform, do you think this is really how you thought it would be before you became where you are?
I think so. I had an idea that it would, what it looked like, because I followed a lot of journalists. I had some mentors who were also already in the industry, so I was exposed to it very, very early on.
Hmm.
Um, but in terms of the reach, I didn't think that it would get to this point because now, especially with the under 30 list, I'm always getting messages from people about
Hmm.
how do I get on the list? Like I think it's helped me see that the work that I'm doing is important. And it's
Yeah.
not necessarily something that I could just do half-heartedly. So that has really been a privilege for me to be able to be in these shoes. Yeah.
Okay. So what was your craziest experience
Mhm.
since you reached where you are?
In my industry,
Yeah,
in my career.
in terms of Forbes, yeah, in terms of Forbes and
Yeah.
journalism. Because I know there's a lot of pressure, a lot of people DMing you, trying to ask, and other people maybe they're trying to bribe you. I don't want to give you the hints, but yeah.
I think not necessarily crazy, but maybe a surreal moment that I once had was during the Global Citizen Festival that happened here in South Africa. So, working as a journalist, you had the privilege to obviously meet like the celebrities on the red
Yeah.
carpet. So there were moments where I'm standing and like across me 2 feet is like Oprah Winfrey just standing there.
Oh,
I got to interview Naomi Campbell, got to interview DeBanj, like so many people.
that's
And,
very big.
it's that pressure of like, okay, don't be so starstruck. You still have to
Yeah,
keep your composure.
yeah.
It
Okay, I
was,
get it.
it was, I think, just a huge memorable moment for me. I mean, even Tyler Perry was there. So there were a lot of people, I can't even remember, but there were a lot of big names that we could, speak to. And that was nice.
Yeah, that's
It was
amazing.
just,
Um, w- do you, okay, when was the last time you Googled yourself?
um, I don't remember. Maybe, I think. sometime this year. Yeah, sometime this year.
Okay, what did you find?
I found Forbes, a lot of Forbes stuff. That's it. A lot of Forbes articles, my Instagram pictures, um, Facebook stuff, the usual. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then the features that I've done, like interviews I've done with other publications.
yeah. Do you read your DMs?
I do, but I'm really bad at it. I'm not on social media a lot. I'm not. I always try to tap out here and there, so sometimes I don't get to. I do miss a lot of messages in my DMs.
Wow. On a scale of 1 to 10, would you say how busy are you right now at the moment?
um, Maybe an 8. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say
Okay.
I'm an 8. Yeah, it's
Quarantine.
yeah, quarantine because we're actually wrapping up our exams at school, so I'm in the heat of marking.
Okay. Oh, you're a lecturer too. We didn't talk about that.
Hmm.
Where do you do your services of professorship?
Yeah.
Which
So
school?
I lecture at Pearson Institute of Higher Education. They're an international university, but they have different brands all over. And they're a private university. So they have a branch here in South Africa in Midrand. So I lectured there. But since COVID-19,
Hmm.
we haven't been having face-to-face lectures. Most of the things are done online.
What
Oh,
course are you
hey. Hi,
specializing in?
Tayo.
What's cool?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just saying hi to one of my friends who just joined in.
All right. Fine, fine. Yeah, I was
So the
asking.
courses,
Hmm.
oh yeah,
Yeah, the course.
so the courses that I do are media studies and journalism. So the video side of journalism, the writing side of journalism, then understanding the media landscape as a whole in terms of the history and where it is now, and how do we evaluate theories in media?
Yeah, makes sense. So
Yeah.
my next question is, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I would like to be at a place where I'm obviously still continue to tell stories in different mediums, whether it's video or writing. I
Yeah.
think doing a little bit more development work for Africa. Yeah, so I'm very, I, I always try not stick to like a certain plan that by 30 I need to have done one, two, three. But I'm very flexible in terms of what I'd like to achieve. I also want to do my master's, so definitely in the next 5 years that would have been complete.
All right. What are you most excited for the rest of 2020? Are you working on any books? Oh,
On your book? Not yet, not yet. I will be soon, one day. But I am looking forward to.
or movies? Are you working on any movies or music?
One day I will. I can't really say much right now, but yeah, in the future that's definitely going to be a plan. Um, yeah, I'm pretty excited for the new achievements that are to come. I'm also planning on, like I said, doing my master's. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's in the
I
works.
just
That's in the works.
I just saw
Yeah.
a comment which is funny. Someone is laughing at me. I shaved my beard because I used to keep
Oh,
it.
you shaved up. I
Uh,
see that.
Mars. Okay. Are you taking any new members to? Okay, how did you actually get to be a curator for Forbes list? I wanted to understand. Is it because you're a journalist, so it's about journalism or what?
Yeah, it is. It is very much journalism, but a whole lot of organization that goes into it. So when I started working with Forbes Africa in 2018, I was a multimedia journalist, and we had someone else who was working on the list, but that person left. So they had asked me, am I interested in trying this out? Is it something I want to work
Mm,
on alone? And yeah, I mean, I was scared at first, but I was like, okay, let's give it a
yeah,
try. Sometimes I
yeah,
believe God puts you in different situations for a reason, and when you're given a certain opportunity, you should grab it as soon as
yeah,
you can and do your best at it. So that was the mindset that I had going into it. Yeah. So going forward, that's literally how it started.
That's great. But what do they actually look for someone to be a curator at Forbes? If there's a criteria for
So
that.
that would be a very good question for my editor, who
Mhm.
would gladly assist with that. But I think basically, I mean, the kind of work that we're doing, obviously, it's a lot of hard work. It's months of research, so you need to be able to keep deadlines. You need to be able to
Uh-huh.
sift through a lot of information. So it's very research based. So you're not only just looking at the information that's given to you by the people, but you also have to do your own background checks, verify information, fact checking. Sometimes you also then work as, the auditor, because I'll have to first go through the finances, and then give them to the audit partner once I've approved them, and then they do the second approval.
Yeah.
So there's a lot a lot of qualities that you build and skills that you build up from that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you
Oh, hey,
believe in the law of
Martha.
karma?
Do I believe in the law of what?
Karma.
Depends. It depends. I'm to put it out there, I am Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when it comes to things like karma, yeah, it's not necessarily said as a word karma, but it's mostly that, whatever happens, that um, God would basically
Happens for a
have his
reason.
way. Yeah, everything happens for a reason. Because I think sometimes when you think about karma, you end up doing things not because you want to, but
Mm-hmm.
because you feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't do this nice thing, I'm gonna get karma for 7 years. Or, if I don't give the beggar on the streets some money, something bad is
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen to me, which really isn't how life works. Yeah.
Yeah. So if your life was a hashtag, what would it be?
Mm. Hashtag keeping up with Karen.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
that's my
That's good.
Instagram name, so that works.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, that's great. It's been nice having you, Karen.
Thanks for having me
That's why
too.
most of my people tuning in. They usually tune in at night. That's why last time I was trying to put it at night.
Okay, usually do it at night.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, but it's
Uh,
all good. So you can just tell us your social media handles so that the people can follow up with you.
cool.
If this is
So
the
yeah, you
post.
guys can check my handle at its_Karen M, and yeah,
That's on Instagram.
let's see. The same
Are
on
you also on
Instagram as
Twitter?
well. Yeah, also Twitter is the same thing. its_Karen M, and it's also keeping up with Karen, so you won't miss it.
That's amazing. On YouTube?
YouTube is just Karen Mwendera.
All right, great. Anyway, thanks for coming through. I appreciate
Thanks for having me.
coming.
Thank you so
All
much. This
right,
was
thank you. All
fun.
right, God bless.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.